Hey everyone, welcome back. In my video, 7 Principles for Organizing Any Space, I referenced decluttering as principle number 1. Today I want to expound on that. Hear me out. Decluttering is kind of a buzzword right now. It seems everybody on the internet is either decluttering or talking about decluttering. And while I don't want to be white noise on the internet, I do want to share my experience with decluttering and what it did for me and my family in hopes that maybe hearing this story will give someone else the courage to let go. A little over 2 years ago, despite my very best efforts, I felt like I was having a hard time keeping my head above water. Keep in mind, I had a great husband, he had a great job, we had 3 beautiful, healthy kids, we lived in a great house in a fantastic neighborhood. You could say I was living the dream. But I felt like I had come to an impasse. I remember around this time, my husband and I having a lot of conversations about how I felt like I was treading water despite my best efforts. I felt stretched to my limits and I needed to find a way to change that around. I didn't like feeling like this or living like this, but I didn't know what change to make. We tried different things here and there, hoping that maybe something would make a big enough difference, but it never did. At one point, we were looking for something in our overfull storage closet, when in frustration, I made the comment to my husband, "We have too much stuff, we need a bigger house." To which my husband calmly and wisely responded, "If we need more space in a house this size, we have too much stuff." The conversation ended there. I knew he was right, but there was kind of a disconnect between knowing that I could do something about it, that I should do something about all that stuff. Surely I had the same amount of stuff that everyone else had, the neighbors had. Full disclosure, we were never hoarders by any stretch, but like most people, we had acquired a lot more than what we needed. A few weeks after we'd had this conversation, I saw a video where someone was talking about the benefits of decluttering and how it had helped them get their head above water. I was sold. I told my husband about the video and told him I wanted to try some decluttering in hopes that maybe decluttering the house would make me not feel like I was drowning anymore. He was game. He saw decluttering as a way to clean up the house, and I saw it as a way to hopefully be able to get my head above water. So we set out to declutter the entire house. Really with no agenda in mind, not setting out to get rid of a certain percentage of stuff, but just hoping to get rid of some of the stuff that we didn't need. I could not believe the difference it made right from the beginning. My husband felt it too, and so we kept going. The load that it lifted off my mind right from the start was unbelievable. The first area we did was the pantry, and it felt so good to get rid of expired food, to be able to donate gadgets and appliances and things that we hadn't used and we weren't going to use, but they were cluttering up the space. It felt so good to let those things go and have more space. After the pantry, we did the closet in our bedroom. The first time I went through my closet, I got rid of 30 shirts, 5 pairs of shoes, 2 purses, a bag, 3 belts, 7 pairs of pants, and several pieces of jewelry, to say nothing about my husband got rid of from his side. If you're familiar with Dawn from The Minimal Mom, you'll know she talks a lot about how each of the items in our home is sending us a subliminal message about something that we should be doing. Whether that's a plant that tells us it needs to be watered, or whether it's dirty dishes in the sink telling us they need to be washed, everything in our home is sending us some kind of a message. Decluttering my closet is when I first really noticed those subliminal messages. As I looked around at these things that I'd had, I realized they had been sending me some messages, and they weren't very nice messages either. For example, I had a pair of yellow skinny jeans that I had loved. These were probably my favorite pair of pants that I had maybe ever owned. But at the time of this decluttering, I was 6 months postpartum with my 3rd baby, and these pants just weren't fitting anymore. I kept them thinking maybe someday they might. Every time I saw these yellow pants, the subliminal message that they were sending me is, "What's wrong with you? Why haven't you lost the baby weight yet? You had lost it at this point with your other 2. Why haven't you lost it with your 3rd? Those pants were almost mocking me. It sounds kind of ridiculous, but there was always a similar chain of thoughts that would happen every time I saw those pants. So that night, as we made our first pass of decluttering through our closet, I let go of those pants, realizing as much as I had once loved them, they just weren't going to fit anymore. I deserved to have things in my closet that fit me and that I felt good about myself in. So I let them go. And you know what followed? Me embracing myself for the way that I was right there, 6 months postpartum with my 3rd baby, the current size I was, right then and there. I'm hopeful that whoever bought those skinny jeans loved them as much as I did, but regardless, I was finally free from the message that those pants were sending me, and it felt really good. My husband and I were both so surprised at how much of a burden was lifted off of us by decluttering that we kept going and going and going until we had done the whole house. And after each round of decluttering, we felt even more of a burden lifted. But what probably surprised me the most was how I began to love my house again. I began to feel content with my house again. I began to be grateful for my house again. It had been a long time since I'd felt any of those things. At the time of this filming, we have sent over 13 packed full carloads to our local donation center. We've also given away countless things to friends and family members who needed them, and we've sold a few things here and there. We've parted with things from nearly every area of our home, from furniture to appliances to toys to yard equipment to holiday decor, you name it. We didn't skip anything. This includes parting with a mini fridge, a full-size fridge, a treadmill, a 7-foot tall shelf, and a pool table, to name a few of the larger items. At our best guess, we have decluttered over 80% of the items in our home. While I'm not proposing that everyone go out and declutter 80% of the items in their home, the result of doing so for us was we felt less stressed, we had less to worry about, our kids played better with less. I no longer feel like I'm drowning. I had no idea the impact that decluttering would have on nearly every aspect of my life. So today I want to share with you 7 of the lessons that I learned from decluttering my home. Lesson number 1, I didn't need all of those things to be able to help me live a happy, full, and enriching life. In fact, having all of those things was taking away my ability to live my life. My husband and I have some good friends who you could say they have it all. They're the friends with the vacation home, the RV, the boat, the 4-wheelers, etc. The list goes on. Society would say that they've made it, but they also spend a lot of time maintaining those items and a lot of time working to be able to afford those items. I have realized through decluttering my home that I don't need to own all of those things to be able to have just as good of a life as my friends have. I can rent the boat or the RV or the vacation home or the 4-wheelers and still have the same experiences that my friends are having, but without having to be responsible for owning and maintaining and repairing those things. While I don't fault my friends for living their life the way that they do, the pressure that society puts on us to keep up with the Joneses is just not worth the cost. Lesson number 2, having less possessions in your home means less to manage, less to do, less to be responsible for. Who doesn't want to be responsible for less? Joshua Becker, who's one of the pioneers of modern day minimalism, said it best when he said this: every single thing you own requires a little bit of your attention and time. Whether it be researching, shopping, cleaning, organizing, repairing, replacing, recycling, or working just to make the money to buy the new thing that you can take home to clean and organize and replace. I realized that even just by having the stuff and knowing that I was responsible for it was taking up way more mental space than I even had to spare. Thus my overwhelm. Lesson number 3, having less to manage made it so that I had more time to do the things that I really wanted to be doing. No longer was I feeling resentful of the fact that I seemed to always be doing something or taking care of something or cleaning something while my kids were playing a game. But now I'm able to join in their games and be more present as a mother. And to me, that is a big deal. Having less to take care of gave me more time to be able to spend doing the things that I really wanted to be doing. Things that are way more fulfilling. We now travel way more as a family, which is one of our passions, because we have less to do at home. Because we spend less doing all of the maintaining and the taking care of and the cleaning, all those things. Lesson number 4, possessions often cause more of a problem than they solve. We often buy a gadget thinking it will solve this problem over here, when in reality, having more things creates more problems. If you were to be able to define a ratio of how often buying something actually solves a problem versus how often having that thing causes more problems, I think we would all be very surprised at how possessions often cause more problems than they solve. Lesson number 5, life is overall so much easier with less. The old adage of less is more is really very true. Having less makes it so I spend less time looking for things because I know exactly what I have and I know exactly where it is. There is something so beautiful about being able to be content with what you have. I have less on my mind because having less gives me less to worry about. Lesson number 6, decluttering is a chain reaction. Because we've gotten rid of so much, we are now more intentional with our purchases and what we allow in our home, which means we spend less, which frees up more money for saving, for becoming more financially secure, for doing more things that make memories, and for doing the things that are more important. Because we live with less, we have embraced a more simple life, which has made us want to simplify even more, which leaves us more time and more money for doing the things that we really want to be doing, the things that matter the most. Lesson number 7, I didn't miss the stuff, not even a little bit. Decluttering didn't solve all of my problems, but I was pleasantly surprised at how many problems it did solve and how many things it put into perspective. Even with so much less, we still live very comfortably because we still have what we need. And dare I say, we even live more comfortably than we did before because the other stuff isn't getting in the way. Now, I want to ask you some questions. Number one, what are your possessions keeping you from? What would you rather be doing with your life than maintaining all that stuff? Now, I'm not proposing that decluttering your home is going to allow you to quit your job and travel the world, but maybe decluttering your home would free up more resources to be able to do more of the things that you really want to be doing, whether that's travel, spending time with the people that you love, or whatever it is that you love to do. Number two, what messages are your possessions sending you? Do you have a pair of yellow skinny jeans that are telling you that you're less than and that there's something wrong with you? Or maybe for you, it's a basement or an attic full of stuff that is telling you you are a mess because you can't get on top of all this stuff. What are the messages that your possessions are sending you? Question number three, what is it costing you to keep all the things that you have? Is it costing you time away from people that you love because you're too busy maintaining all that stuff? Is it costing you peace of mind because you're always stressed about everything that you have to do and everything that you have to maintain? Or maybe it's costing you a monthly fee because you have to have a storage unit to contain everything that you own. What is it costing you to keep all the things that you have? I hope you'll take some time to ask and answer these questions for yourself. As I've mentioned, decluttering has been an entire lifestyle shift for us that has been so worth it, that has made us so much happier and brought us so much more freedom. For me, one of the biggest anomalies of decluttering has been how getting rid of so much can make my life feel so much more full. I hope that hearing my story has given you the courage to get rid of some of the things that you own, some of the things that are burdening you down, some of the things that are taking you away from the most important things in life. Please like and subscribe, that really helps me out a lot. And please feel free to leave a comment below about what decluttering has done for you if you've already set out on your decluttering journey, or what you hope decluttering is going to do for you. Thanks for watching, friends. Have a great day.